Update. I'm Sean Kirkpatrick. Today we are coming to you live from Newport High School's The Preserve. We're going to talk a little bit about what's happening Friday in just a moment, but we're also going to have we're going to have our beach volleyball season. I would say preview, but we're going to have an update by now. So coming to you again, I want to thank John Rawlings. I'm guessing you're somewhere in the Appalachia. I don't know where exactly.
North Carolina.
Carolinas. Okay, that's right. You crossed the mountains. I apologize for that. John, how you doing today?
I'm good. Just tired of driving.
Well, when you get here, it's already 82 degrees, so you're going to go from wherever you're at to 80s weather, just like that.
I started out with the heater on this morning, and I've got the AC on now, so it's all good.
Sweating like crazy, so all right. Thank you, John. Appreciate it.
All right, buddy. Talk to you
soon. All right, guys.
So
before we get started, our first guest here, we are here for a special reason, but I do want to give a shout out to Beef O'Brady's here in Northport. There's two reasons why I'm going to shout them out. Saturday, they had the ESPN, they had the game coverage of Imani Jefferson's FGCU basketball game at Oklahoma for the March Madness. Again, not the way she wanted her season to end, but they end eventually for everybody. And we're so proud of how she got there and what she did for not just Newport High School's reputation, but for her university. 3 times in a row, March Madness. Our only athlete that can say a national championship tournament of any kind 3 years in a row. So great job, Imani. But we also want to talk about Beef O'Brady's because tonight, parents, if you're watching, 6:30, they're going to have an organizational meeting for the project graduation, and it's really important you guys step in. That's a great event for your seniors, athlete, non-athlete. So good job on that. Coach Fu's going to come in here for a second because we need to get him going. He's got something more important than talking to us right now. Coach, how you doing, sir?
Yeah, I'm doing well. How you doing?
What's going on here today? And then we're going to talk about Friday in just a second here.
Today we have our final JV meet of the year, so letting the youngest people come out and compete. We have 5 schools here. Everyone's doing their job, and we're just trying to get this meet finished.
And this is a warm-up for the big reason I had to get you on here. What amazing events happening Friday?
We have the 22nd annual Northport Invite. We have 32 schools scheduled to compete here on Friday night. The numbers aren't in yet, but I'm guessing around 1,500 athletes. It's going to be a huge event. Hopefully everything runs well and people enjoy themselves.
So, Coach Fu, this is becoming, I wouldn't say the best, but one of the best events for high school track and field in this area.
It's definitely it's the biggest one in the area. Yeah. But obviously there's a lot bigger ones in the state, but we do ours on a Friday afternoon, which typically runs from like 10 to 15 teams at most when you're doing a Friday night meet. We're going to face the challenge and do 32.
Is this the most you've ever had?
One year I accidentally had 36. Yeah. Right. I've been trying to limit it since, but it keeps climbing.
So fans, if you're a fan of track and field like I am, who doesn't love track and field, especially during the Olympic time? You got to come down here just to watch a few minutes of it. If you get out of work, we'd like to say the whole day, but your season so far, Coach, has been pretty impressive. Every time I see you go somewhere, you're coming back with some trophies. How you feeling on the season?
We've been doing all right, but I do have to admit we've been hit hard with the flu bug. A lot of kids been going down getting sick. Not me. A lot of kids been going down sick, but I say the young kids and the other kids have been stepping up, and both teams have been doing very well just with the numbers of kids out.
Yeah. And but not just the guys. At the beginning of the year, we talked about the usual suspects. What surprises since I last saw you have you seen, or have you seen a steady progression of everybody just about? Well, anything jump out in mind to you?
Probably the one athlete that sticks out is Christian Angran. He's a senior, and he's been hovering around, but good at a lot of events, but not great at many. But this year, he's great at 4 events, and we are using
field or track.
He's field.
Okay, good.
He can run too. He can run, but obviously you can't run and do 4 field events. So he's right now focusing on 4 field events.
Good.
He went down to Dunbar last Saturday. He got 3rd place in the pole vault. So that's a 57 team meet. So
57 teams.
Yeah. Woo. I was on a Saturday, and I almost looking at it, I was like, I can do this, but by the end of the day, I was like, I don't want to do this.
No, you need 2 coaches, 2 everything, 2 announcers, 2 concession groups.
It's a lot of work.
So Friday, let's go to Friday here. So what are we going to have here for the fans? I know they're going to have concessions of some kind, tables, things like that.
Right now, we're actually working on food trucks. So we're going to have a variety of food truck options for the fans.
Excellent.
And as always, we'll have shaved ice cream truck. We'll have enough options for all the fans to be happy.
Yeah, don't even go home. Just go straight here. Because we'll start cranking up the track events again around 5:30. We're gonna have senior night Friday.
Senior night starts at 5, and we'll finish it at 5:30, and the running will begin right at 5:30.
And we're gonna break a record. We're gonna get out at 9:30, aren't we?
Exactly.
That's our.
That's the goal.
Last year, I think we got out at 10. You said
10:30.
10:30. So we're gonna knock it out. I can
Right.
feel it. So all right. Well, Coach, I'm gonna let you go. I appreciate it.
Thank you,
Coach.
Thanks for having me.
All right, man. He's gonna go do his JV announcing thing. So I'm gonna keep going. Aspen, I don't know if you can see me or not. I'm gonna walk to a more quieter venue here. But while I'm doing so, I do want to say something to Aspen real quick. I hate to cut you off. This last Saturday, I posted on Facebook. We had an amazing Bobcat Blitz day. I got to say goodbye to a legend Bobcat with my Jefferson at ESPNU over at Bobcat, at the Beaver Brady's. But then I got to do something I've never done before. I've never announced a youth league tournament like this before. It was a in-town rivalry, the Bobcat Junior Bobcats and the Northport Junior Bobcats and the Northport Huskies program. They had a tournament where all 5 age groups went at it, and I got to announce the last 2 games. It was pretty neat. Fans were fantastic, very classy all around. Had a great time doing that. So first time I've ever announced and seen the goodbye of a former Bobcat and the ones that are coming in. So loved everything. Aspen, I don't know if you went to school with Amani or not. I can't remember if you overlapped. I don't think you did.
I don't think so.
No, I think, but I know you were Division One. I know you got some NCAA experience. So what's it like as an alumni, seeing not just not yourself, but like people coming after you doing well at the NCAA level? What's that mean for a culture that's still growing here at Northport High School?
I think it's such an awesome thing because our school compared to other schools in the area is still a relatively like newer school if you think about like the years of and like the history of all the other schools in the area. So the fact that we have so many amazing athletes like coming through and doing well, and we have so much growth within our athletics department, I think is a great thing for all the younger athletes in the area to see as they're coming through.
I'm gonna get a little shade spot here. So Aspen, this is the first time I've been back in a while. Your Newport High School's got a lot more portables than I last saw 2 years ago. What is going on over here? Oh my goodness. So, all right, our featured guest, we finally get you on this season. And the reason, Coach, I feel so bad for you guys is, when do you have your games and your matches?
So our games are mostly on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And it's really like we play at 4:00 start times. So we're pretty much you're usually still playing around this time. So this is the one Tuesday that we had that we play tomorrow.
I feel so bad because I can't get out of work.
We don't play today, we play tomorrow. So it was the 1 week that we could get on.
So here we go. Let's try this again. All right, there we go. A little bit better here. Coach, I'm so sorry about that. So yeah, I never get a chance to see you because I'm working during those hours. So for those who don't know who you are, this is Aspen Davidson. Why don't you introduce yourself? What do you do at Northport High School, and what sport are you representing today?
So I teach math at Northport High School, and I am the head beach volleyball coach, girls beach volleyball coach.
And we talked last year about this. You're one of the few of our trifectas. You work here, you coach here, and you went to school here. There's not too many of those around. So that's a pretty cool club you're in. So how does that feel? How many years? I know you helped out with regular hard court volleyball. What season of beach volleyball is this for you?
This is my second as head coach, and it would be my 4th just in the program because the first 2 years I was an assistant.
So the program's been around for 4 years. I know it's a relatively new sport for the high school setting here.
Yeah.
So you had 4 years. Okay. And where do you guys still have your matches at, or do you have home matches? I forgot.
So no, we don't really have home matches, but we mostly play schools in the area. So we play like Port Charlotte at Centennial. We play down in Punta Gorda at Carmelita. We play over in Lemon Bay. So they're not super far games. They're all relatively close. Like tomorrow we play Venice at Venice Beach. So.
And just listening to that, why would you not want to be on that team? You get to go play at beaches.
Yeah.
And you get it's like, oh, come on, I gotta join this. So do you have an actual statewide district kind of like we got finals, and then would you have to go to like Lakeland or Orlando? Or how does that work?
So we have districts are in April. So it's like the week of the 22nd of April. So we'll have districts, and so our districts have changed a little bit throughout the seasons this year. I believe it's Venice and Sarasota are in our district, and we've had different teams in our district in the past. So Yep, we'll have our district games that second to last week of April.
So since we're a little bit late in there, how many weeks or how many games have you gone into your season already? Usually we try to get you in the very beginning of the year, but we just couldn't quite
Yeah.
mesh on our calendar.
So we played a preseason game and we played 4 of our regular season games. We're
Okay.
2-2 right now.
Oh, good.
So we're doing
Excellent.
pretty well. We had a really big win against Mariner High School at the beginning of the season.
Excellent.
The past couple of years, past couple of seasons, we are very closely matched with them, and it always comes down to our very last match. It's always a third set, like right at the very
Oh,
end.
that's
And
cool. That's
the
cool.
past couple of years, we haven't pulled it out, and this year we pulled it out and we beat them, and it was really, really great. The girls did an amazing job, and they had a lot of fun.
How many more regular season games do you? How deep does your season go in terms of weeks?
So we have, how many do we have left? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have about 5 left
Okay, so you're about the
in
halfway
the
point then.
season. Yeah,
Okay.
so we're about halfway.
Good.
And then we'll have our district matches.
And I always ask every coach on our midway section, starting with what you started with the preseason, what have you seen at the halfway mark here that you're happy with, or maybe not happy with, or room for
Mhm.
improvement, or a surprise player or two, or maybe a pair of players. I know they pair up on this fact. What kind of things do
Yeah.
you see at the halfway point? What's your assessment here on the halfway spot here?
I think that especially, I mean, with every team, it's like the team camaraderie and like the team relationships and what you have, but especially with beach because they are in their pairs and they are doubles, and beach is a little bit different in terms of coaching the sport because as they play their matches, I can't actively coach them. They're kind of as they play their match, they can only come talk to me if they have like if they call a timeout, if they're switching sides, I can say something to them real quick, or if they have their tech, which is usually like a halfway point between in the match. And so basically the girls kind of are on their own most of the time in the matches. So I think the greatest thing we've seen this year is I have a lot of partnerships that they're really like working on their communication, and they really have a strong bond and strong communication on the court, which is something you need, especially when you're in those tough matches where you're going for point and everything like that. It's just we have really great sophomores that we had a lot of freshmen last year, a lot of sophomores that played a lot in the off season and they got better, and we've had some really great matches and just partnerships and bonds between them that has really carried them through some of our tougher matches.
So, coach, let's stop for a second. So, your regular hard court volleyball indoor, that's every single point. I always see coaches talking. They always have that little secret finger, like where to stand and all that. So you go from every single play, just
Yeah.
about being told where to go and what to do to
Mhm.
so you're on your own, kid. Good luck.
Yeah.
That's a pretty big transition. And so my next question would be: so of your indoor players, how many of them adapt to that? That's a complete 180 switch in terms of mindset. Like they are with their partner, and that's all they have. How many of them? How many of them do well? Do they do okay? Does it take some time to get adjusted? Is there a learning curve there, or are they all
Yeah.
pros at it now?
When we first started with beach and having, because all of our girls that play beach, except I think every single girl that's on the team plays indoor, except for I
Yeah.
think there's one. And so all of the girls and they're all in club right now too. So they're still playing indoor
Oh,
volleyball as
right.
it is.
Oh,
And
so shaking their
so
heads, like shaking their heads.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So most of them have been playing for a couple of years and they're pretty used to it once they get into the swing of it. The thing that does catch them is the fact that like they have to call their timeout. I can't call their timeout. So a lot of times I'm kind of over on the sideline like, oh, call your timeout, because I can't do it. So that's the one thing that sometimes trips us up a little bit, but they are getting better at it and being more aware of it.
Are you at a complex where you have like simultaneous games, or one game at a time, so you can help them out if they need it? Or are you having to walk
It's
all over the place?
usually, yeah, so there's usually everywhere we play, you have 3 courts. So
Okay.
we play 3 matches at a time. And so I'm usually always circulating around so that when they do call a timeout, when they do have a tech, so I'm kind of watching 3 games at once and getting a feel for, you know, what they need and everything like that.
So how big is this team? I forgot. Let's go back to the basics. I apologize. How many pairs do you have? Are there alternates? Are there JV? Like
Yeah,
how's this look here? Walk us
so
through this
we
program.
have we have 14. So
Okay.
we have our 7 teams, so we have a couple of extra players, which does come in handy. And a lot of teams do always have extra players. So a lot of times when we have games finish up, we have our extra players get to play matches, which doesn't happen in indoor or usually a lot of other sports. So it's
Right.
really nice that we're able to do that because pretty much all the teams have extra players. So
Good.
it's really awesome that all the girls get a chance to play majority of the time.
And that's big there, coach, because a lot of times I tell people that are coming from middle school into high school, they like some of these parents don't quite understand. Your kid, sadly to say, it's varsity. They might not play for games at a time in the indoor, the varsity level sports. So to say, hey, look, at our level, there's a good chance you get to play. Maybe not every match, but every other match or something like that. That's pretty neat to
Hmm.
hear that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
So
great thing and
how
it
old is this?
helps.
Yeah. So how old is your team right now? I know you said you had a lot of sophomores last year. Are they pretty much a junior squad right now, all juniors, or you
Well,
got any
so
seniors
we
on the
had a
team?
lot of freshmen last year, so now we have a bunch of sophomores. So,
Oh,
but
I see. I'm sorry. Gotcha.
yeah, so a lot of our freshmen last year had never really played before. They were just new to the experience, and
Yeah.
I had um a couple girls last year. They played a bunch of beach tournaments over the summer, and they paired up, and they're doing really well as a pair. And a lot of girls have really like fallen in love with the sport,
Good.
which is a great thing to see.
And coach, it's such a great sport to get into because if you live anywhere in Florida, there's always a beach pit
Hmm.
somewhere in a major city. All the colleges have them as well, the universities. It's
Absolutely.
a great sport to take with you for life. So, coach, I got a little history lesson for you. So, when I was growing up in Sarasota County, they did not have men's or boys indoor volleyball. I don't know if they still do or not now, but they did back in the late '80s. So, I played a ton of beach volleyball at Siesta Key. That was my thing. Now,
Hmm.
not near as great as the other people. I could actually jump in those. I can't even move my knees now, but I could actually jump back then. But so I got used to the beach game at a very young age. And this is, of course, the Olympics didn't have the TV coverage like it does now. But look at the difference between the late '80s, early '90s, and now, 40, 30, 40, 50 years later. Look at it now. It's everywhere. They got varsity teams now at the college level here in Florida and all over the Southeast. I'm sure the other countries are as well. What have you seen that's attributed to that rise? Is it the middle school level, the high school, the clubs? How did this explosion just take off?
I think that um obviously like they have the professional tournaments. I think living in Florida,
Yeah.
there's so much beach volleyball
Oh, so
around.
much. Yeah.
When I play volleyball, like I hardly ever play indoor. I usually, if I play volleyball in my free time, it's beach. So
Right.
so many of the Division 1 colleges had those beach volleyball teams, and now we're seeing like the community colleges and the
Right.
NAIAs. They're all getting beach volleyball teams, and I think it's just, I feel like it's kind of, it's so much, I feel like it is more relaxing and it is also more stressful. And I think it is such a challenge, and it's such a, you have to be so smart when you're playing beach volleyball in terms
Right.
of like what are your strengths and looking at the other side and seeing the other team, like so much more than I think you would have to do in indoor. And so it really is such a strategic game that I think it is intriguing a lot of people, and a lot of people are getting more into it, especially down here. Like, there's courts everywhere. You can
Yeah.
you can always find a game to play pickup
Except
volleyball.
for Northport. Let's throw that out there, commissioners. If you're watching, where is our only beach court in the entire 100,000 population city of Northport? Why don't you go ahead and
Dallas
tell us
White.
what that's at? Dallas White, and
Dallas
how,
White.
and why can't you use those for your varsity matches? You can be honest here. I want
So
people to hear this.
the nets are very high, and we've tried to lower them, and they have fallen on us.
Yeah.
There also isn't a ton of sand down there. Like, we do
Oh.
practice there, but there is like a pretty hard surface underneath the court. So
Mm. Oh,
there
that
definitely
hurts.
needs to be some more sand on the court, which they do periodically every couple years put sand out there. But yeah, the nets are definitely not as like user friendly in adjusting them. So that makes it a little bit difficult to play our matches.
And Coach, that hurts because we are such a young town, growing town, and if we want beach volleyball to succeed, not just be a city on the beach kind of sport,
Yeah.
that's got to change. I don't know how we can help you make that happen. I don't know if I can help you make it happen, but come on, guys, we got beautiful. In fact, we're gonna see some of these sports in a couple of weeks here. We've got beautiful little league fields, beautiful softball fields, beautiful soccer fields, football. We got everything out there. Basketball's fixed again at the Morgan Center, but we don't have the beach courts. And again, to be this big a city, now it feels like you have to rely on the high school to have beach pits. Is there any rumor of whatsoever? I hear whisperings every now and then. Do you think Nova High School is in the works, maybe getting it in the next 5, 10, 15
Yeah.
years?
I know
You
some
hearing
of
that?
the other schools, like I know Riverview has some on their campus now. They're the only school I believe in the area that does,
Okay.
as far as I know of. Because Venice is like, we're playing Venice tomorrow. We play at Venice Beach, so
And that's just down the road for those guys. That's not much of a travel for those guys.
no.
Yeah.
And we have the Lemon Bay. They have their courts, and Charlotte and Port Charlotte. Yeah, we
Right.
just need
Oh,
some
so commissioners, if you're
beach
watching, come
courts.
on, let's make this happen. It's one of the biggest growing sports in America, and like I said, there's varsity level now at the colleges, and there always has been for some schools, but the number of varsity colleges or number of colleges with varsity programs is growing very quickly. Do you
Oh,
think that
absolutely.
parent wise, I know the indoor game, it's so much travel and summer camps and this and that. Do you have that with the beach as well, or is it kind of like a
I feel
fun little diversion, or do they have their own dedicated type system like the hard courts do?
I mean, I think beach is like, definitely, it feels almost more relaxed. I don't know if it's because
Okay.
it's a smaller team. Um, it is very much a more relaxed environment, and it's more focused. I think with indoor, you have so many play. A lot of times you have like freshman teams, JV teams, and
Right.
a lot of times we're playing games that are a lot further away. All of our games are usually pretty close, so it's not
You
like the
have to get
travel is
done. You
usually.
have to get out of school and get there as fast as you can before the sun goes down.
Yeah,
That's pretty
so
much why. Right.
the time change helps a little bit, but
Yeah.
yeah, our games are always early, so we usually play at all of our games this year are at 4 o'clock. So the girls are usually getting out of school and just heading straight to wherever we got to go.
Coach, it's interesting you say that because when indoor season kicks in, you're the very first sport right off the bat.
Hmm.
You beat everybody by a week or two almost, and people
Yeah.
know about it because people come to the gym. They've got the indoor air conditioning. The weather's not a problem. So you kind of have a noticeability issue going on when it's time for beach volleyball. Do the kids even know? You have to answer, but like, how many kids even know you have a beach volleyball team? That's a tough one to get going. Like, how do we get the parents, the boosters? So it's interesting you say it's an afterthought. What would you think it will take at either the high school or FHSA level to say, hey, wait a minute, this is just as serious a sport as the indoor game, which has all the coaches and the AAU clinics and the ESPN Disney World of Sports kind of thing. What's that shift going to be? What do you think? What do you envision 5 years from now, 10 years from now? If you had the FHSAA presidency, what would you do? How would you make this happen?
I mean, I think that like the a good majority of the kids I think at Northport know about beach volleyball. I know
Good,
our girls definitely spread the word a lot when we have
good.
games, like when we play Port Charlotte, when we play Charlotte, like coming out to those games, even though it is a little bit of a travel. Uh, I think having volleyball courts on campus would definitely make it more
Oh,
noticeable and make it more aware and stuff. But I think as it is a relatively new sport and it is
yeah.
still growing, I think we're going to see a lot, um, definitely a lot more interest. I know I always hear from like the boys, like, why can't we have a boys team? Like, we need a
Eh,
boys team. So I know there's a lot of interest. I know.
Are there any clubs for the boys out there in the state of Florida? I thought there was on the other side of. I used to teach on the other side of Florida. I could have swore they had club
Yeah,
level.
I know that there's
Yeah,
some beach volleyball clubs around. I know
yeah.
there's definitely some down south that are both girls and boys. I know for like indoor like teams, like it's more north, but I think as the
Right.
sport continues to grow, we're going to see more of that, and we're going to see more of those opportunities open up.
You know,
Absolutely.
and from the ladies' perspective, there's some great role models out there that get the sport going. You know, the Olympic women's teams are always top level. You know, that's
Hmm.
fantastic. Oh, we can use like them. Um, let's get you back to your team again. So you got a lot of sophomores. You got any seniors this year?
Yep, I have 3 seniors this year.
Good.
Three
And so you have a
seniors
senior
this year.
night at all? Do they have a senior night,
Yeah,
senior day, or?
so we're playing Grace Christian. So our senior day is, because we were trying to make the scheduling work because sometimes it is a little bit funky. We are going to uh try to play we're going to play on April 10th at Dallas White. We were trying to get the Centennial courts or the Carmelita courts, but we weren't able to
Okay.
get it on our date. So we are going to play Grace Christian on April 10th so that we can kind of celebrate our seniors. I think they're going to do
Oh,
kind of a senior day as well for their seniors. We usually kind of do it shared because they don't really have home courts either. So we kind of do a combined. So we're going
so
to try
you
to
are going to
play.
have you're going to host a Northport event there. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so we're gonna do that on April 10th. So
Excellent.
that'll be good. And
Well,
yeah.
make sure you give us a flyer because I have not seen flyers of your of your events. So I can actually post it and say, "Hey, come on out."
Yeah,
That's going to be a
absolutely.
Thursday, I believe. I think it's a Thursday.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's right. So you have limited space though. Is there a JV squad or is just varsity? Is it all
We
combined?
just have a varsity. Yep,
Okay,
it's just a varsity.
just not enough court space or time for a JV or not enough to do
No,
it.
yeah, it's
Okay, gotcha.
always, I think every team has kind of a different number. There's some teams that have
Okay.
a bit more girls, but I think all teams pretty much have
And I
a.
bring this up because I want to help you recruit for next year's team. So what time of the year do you have your preseason or conditioning? What time throughout
Yeah,
the year?
so our season actually, and like our tryouts are a little bit later than some of the other spring sports. So we
Okay.
don't have our tryouts until the first week of February. So it's like a
Okay.
couple weeks after the other sports. So we usually condition um that whole month of January, and we do that sort of stuff, and then we usually have tryouts that first week of February.
So an incoming freshman has a whole semester to get to know the campus, go reach out and find you, talk to you about it, and see what they
Absolutely.
think about it. That's fantastic. So, how does it feel being the teacher, coach, player, and you got looks like you got a nice program building up here. You liking what you're
Mhm.
seeing so far? It's been a couple years now.
Yeah, we've definitely
Yeah.
had a lot of girls go from not really being involved or either not playing beach volleyball in a while because they've been so focused on indoor to then kind of getting back into the realm of beach. And like I said, we had girls play pair up and play in beach tournaments
Yeah.
over the summer with SSOVA and all of that. So that was really, really great to see.
All right. Real quick before I let you go here, walk me through a typical day. How long are the sets? How long? I mean, what would a match time be? Do you only get one match? Do you get is like a round robin? How's that work?
Yeah, so normally, so you set up your pairs and they are all in seed. So you have your one
Sure.
seed, two seed, three seed, four seed, five seed, and then your six seed is plays, but they don't count towards your score.
Okay.
And so normally we have the two seed, the four seed, and the six seed. They play their games all at the same time because we usually have three courts. Um, and we play sets to 21. So it's best of three. And then that third set, if they go to a third set, it goes to 15.
Okay.
And every 7 points, so every total 7 points for like a set, they switch sides. So they're constantly switching sides and all of that. And then for this, the 15 set, it is every 5 points.
That's a
So
lot. It's not side out kind of. It's like actually everything's getting a point either one way or the other. Okay, that's a lot.
so they're always switching sides. We During normal regular season games, we don't really have refs or anybody monitoring. So the girls you have girls on the
Oh,
sideline. So we
that's
have
the
teams on
worst.
the sideline and
Yeah.
girls on the court. They're that can call hands, help to call things. If there's ever a dispute, me and the other coach, it's usually a replay. But the girls are usually very good about
Good. Yeah.
being honest with their play and stuff. So
So
you
it
could have a
sounds like
match.
a lot of good sportsmanship, not a lot of mean or yelling or anything like that. It sounds like a great
No.
positive sport. It's interesting how the spring season I see that we have track and field. I've been talking about them again, very positive, very supportive, not you beating you down at all. So
Yeah.
eighth graders, if you're watching, we'd love to have you come out. Are there any eighth grade feeder teams in the area, or are they all part of indoors like the Jellies and stuff like that?
I know that Jellies does have. I know that I think there's a beach team kind of starting up in kind of Port Charlotte, that
Oh,
area.
good.
But
Excellent.
yeah, any players indoor, even if you've
Yeah.
never played beach volleyball before, you can always come out.
Yeah, you always
Try it
practice a
out.
little bit and see if you like it. Because, like I said,
Yeah.
it's a sport that will go with you wherever you live in Florida and beyond. And by the way,
Absolutely.
Coach, I've got family from the Caribbean, and then volleyball, believe it or not, is a really big sport down in the Caribbean. So you see a lot of volleyball there as well. So it's not just a Florida sport, not just a California sport. And what I like about beach volleyball, I'll send you off on this. If you ever watch the NCAA championships, like you see Nebraska and Penn State, they always have 4 to 5 athletes taller than me.
Yeah.
And it's such an unrealistic thing to get at the high school level because you haven't reached that spurt yet in your life to get that tall.
No.
So beach is a little bit more, I'd say democratic, more fair. It's a little bit more fair on the body sizes. You don't have to be 6'4". It helps. Don't get me wrong, but you can still have
It
a good beach.
definitely helps, but you can be a player that's maybe not as tall, but if you play smart and you play in a very
Exactly.
strategic way, you can always pull out a win.
Exactly. So, well, Coach, any parting words for us? I'm glad we finally got you on here on a nice, beautiful day here at Northport High School.
Yeah. We're just looking forward to the rest of our season, the second half, and hoping to take some matches.
That's fantastic. So again, April 10th. One more time. What time they start? 4 o'clock.
April 10th, 4 o'clock is our
All
start
right.
time.
Sounds good. That's a senior out there. Okay. Thank you, Coach. That's Coach Aspen Davidson with our
Thank
beach
you.
volleyball preview / update / looking forward to things to come. Again, folks, my name is Shocker Patrick. We're actually going to cut a little bit early today. I have to go to Beefo Brady. I want to go to Beefo Brady's to help out Project Graduation. They are looking for not just parents, but they're also looking for community members to help with the prizes and the food. If you don't know what Project Graduation is, it's a wonderful thing. It's a safe time for the seniors that have just graduated. They all come together one last time. We keep them indoors so they can't get in any trouble. So it does depend on parent volunteers, and it really does need community support on this in terms of getting prizes and raffle tickets and all that kind of stuff. Also, before I go, the ACE banquet is coming up this Thursday. Now you're like, why am I doing this? A lot of our student athletes are in the ACE program. We've interviewed so many on this show that are doing ACE as well as sports. They have a really neat fundraiser. It's a silent auction. I posted that today. I even mentioned that one of the packages is pretty cool. There's a gift basket with a whole bunch of Northport High School gear. There's a really cool hat I want to get. It's a camouflage hat with a little leather stamp on it. It's got the Bobcat on there. But they're giving 4 passes all season long, all sports long. So you can go buy your football pass. That's usually $10 home games. If you get those 4 passes, you can go to football, basketball, baseball, softball, you name it, any regular season sport, track and field. That includes your parking as well. So it's a really good deal because, again, if you go to football games, that's $10 a game. They have 5 to 6. If you have 5, that's $50 right there. So if you get these 4 passes with the biscuit, you also get the shirts. They got hats, all sorts of neat stuff. So go online, go to Bobcat Blitz Sports Update, go to the ACE Awards banquet. There's a little thing on there for the raffle, the auction. They've got more prizes as well. They got some hockey tickets. They got a whole bunch of concert things as well as all sorts of gift baskets and artwork. So help out the ACE program. They help out our students quite a bit. Our student athletes love that program because it's not just the good kids in the class, but it's going to help them get their credits when they go on to college. So I appreciate it, guys. We will see you next Tuesday. On behalf of John Rawlings, myself, the Bobcat Blitz Sports Update, we do thank you. We already broke 900 viewers, 900 members. We're almost halfway to 950, so we want to get that 1,000 before the season's over. You have a wonderful evening. You take care.